Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new NVIDIA daily update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over NVIDIA stock, let's go over the market, let's go over what is happening in this kangaroo market, what we can expect moving into the rest of the week, and really starting the fresh month of April, which usually is a bullish month for the market as well. So I'll give you my thoughts. If you enjoyed, don't forget to hit that like button. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. But if you do enjoy my technical analysis, thoughts on the charts, updates, etc., I do have a YouTube membership down below where, again, I'm constantly sharing my thoughts with my members every single day as the market is trading. So if you want to have my thoughts as the market is trading, link is below. Again, just $3 a month, nothing crazy. I'm not trying to make it some crazy, ridiculous price. Just $3 a month gives you access to the first tier, Tesla plus other stocks sometimes as well. Today I talked about it in AMD, for instance, Google, Amazon. Or $5 a month gives you access to the second tier, which pretty much includes everything in the first tier, plus NVIDIA if you're interested as well. Again, I'm not trying to make it expensive, just, as a small barrier to entry to potentially just eliminate trolls and annoying people, to be completely honest with you. But jumping into it, NVIDIA closing the day down only, we'll say 1.2% on the day, closing at 108 and change, which isn't too bad considering the market was down substantially in the morning and NVIDIA clawed its way back up in a pretty interesting fashion. So let's go to the 1 hour chart. The 1 hour chart is pretty interesting. The MACD has officially finally flipped bullish, which is a good sign. RSI's looking pretty nice. It's a pretty aggressive move. I wouldn't be surprised if we see one more dip down to about 106 potentially, assuming the market decides to, do its thing like it usually likes to do. But the way I look at NVIDIA is this: we undercut these lows. I like the fact that we undercut this low, but we closed above it. That to me signals that this could have been a nice little liquidity sweep, little bear trap, get the panic, the stop losses triggered, etc., 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 right? Nice little panic over here, which I like to see. And to finish off the day with the MACD flipping bullish, not too shabby, right? Not too shabby. So the way I look at NVIDIA moving forward is this: short term, at least short term. Keep in mind, this is short term. We'll go over the longer term soon. The longer term is not as pretty. Short term, however, yeah, I like this. I like this sweep. I like this little move up. As long as NVIDIA essentially holds pretty much about 106-ish, 106, 107, something like that, right around that range roughly. I'm liking this. I'm liking this quite a bit, and I think a move up higher should be expected for NVIDIA, and I wouldn't be surprised if it makes its way back up into about the low 1-teens, right? That wouldn't fully shock me, but the next step would be definitely to recapture this gap fill and close back above the gap, which would be at about closer to 110. And that should get us into the 1-teens, right? So I like the fact that I like this way, the way this looks. I like this little sweep down here. That's a pretty beautiful thing, right? A lot of panic selling, I'm sure, happened below here as we essentially broke these lows. People had stop losses below these lows here. They probably got triggered, and now the market rockets without them, and that's usually the worst case scenario for people like that, right? So you got to be really careful with stop losses sometimes as well. So that's good. I do like to see that. Now, again, one of the things I personally really like to look forward to, at least in this kind of market, because it's just so volatile, right? And it's just trappy on many ends, bulls and bears, right? A lot of traps. I like to look for bullish divergences. Now, we're not seeing a bullish divergence just yet. What would show me a bullish divergence, right? Unfortunately, that would essentially mean more pain. So I'm not sure if we're going to get that, but that to me is what I like to look for, just for further confidence. And what that would look like is essentially a small little move up ultimately, or maybe like this, whatever. But ultimately, both end up leading to potentially, at the very least, an equal low retest, maybe even a lower low back down to about 97. For the RSI then to make a higher low as the stock makes a lower low. And that to me would be a very large bullish divergence, kind of like what it did over here. As it kept tanking over here, you can see RSI kept making higher lows as the stock kept going lower, lower, lower. Very beautiful bullish divergence, and we ended up getting that nice move from there. Now, again, you don't always get these bullish divergences. They're not always going to happen. There is a chance that all we do is get a nice little move to 106, and then we make our way back up to 1-teens, we'll say, right? That is a potential. I'm just talking about what would increase the possibility of an actual potentially powerful low being in for the stock. So just, again, something I'm personally looking for. Whether we get that or not is a different question or different thing entirely. But the fact that the MACD is still being bullish here is a good sign. I like to see that on the 1 hour chart. That's not too bad. So that's kind of the 1 hour. I think the 1 hour short term, even to create this bullish divergence, I think we can still see a nice little pump up higher before potentially getting that bullish divergence if we actually get it. But my problem isn't really the 1 hour. My problem is more like on the dailies, is looking a little bit so. For instance, the MACD's flip bearish here. We're still closing below yesterday's, or I guess Friday's low, right? RSI is looking very, very neutral and flaccid, to be completely honest with you. Nothing really interesting with the RSI here. I mean, you can argue a slight bullish divergence, I guess, slightly, but it's not the most convincing, honestly. But my problem is the weekly. My problem is still the weekly, where we have officially broken down out of even this channel. The channel was the one that's a little more lenient. And we've even broken down below this channel. The MACD still, like here, compare the MACD right here. Look at this MACD in the weekly for NVIDIA. Look at it for AMD. Look at the difference. You know what I mean? Look at this difference. Like, one of them feels like it's on the verge of reversing. One of them feels like it's still kind of weak. Like, and again, I hope that's not the case. I hope NVIDIA rockets. I really do, because that probably will help AMD as well, honestly. But just look at how AMD's MACD looks. Look at this. As the stock has continued going lower, 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 it's just been making, slowly trending its way higher, 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 and it's on the verge of flipping. NVIDIA doesn't have that kind of look. It's just still pointing straight down, which just, to me, still shows weakness on the stock, which is, and now that we're breaking out of this channel, again, this is a larger time frame. The reason I'm perplexed is this. The market feels like, again, in April, the market feels like, if it's going to look for a potential reversal, we're pretty much around there now, right? The market should potentially look for it relatively soon, honestly. Worst case scenario is obviously one more low down to closer to like 540 to maybe even worst case 30, but it should happen pretty soon, theoretically, of course, theoretically. But NVIDIA, it's like, well, there's no way the market rallies without NVIDIA, number one. I mean, there's just no way, right? So that's the part I'm kind of confused about. Or will NVIDIA just drag the whole market down with it? That's the part I'm still perplexed about, because if I just look at the chart, objectively, there's concerns here still for me on the weekly. Again, the MACD is still looking mediocre. RSI is still looking mediocre. There's nothing remotely bullish about either of these two, in my opinion, at least, right? As it stands right now. So I don't like any of those. They have the EMA still on the verge of crossing bearish here. I'm not liking any of those situations. And we've lost the channel. Now, what could potentially turn this around? Well, I would want to see the weekly on NVIDIA. And if there's a week for it to do it, it's this week with, with all the noise and Trump and whatnot. If there's a week for the market to squeeze and really take what could be looking like not great situations and really just flip them around instantly, this is that week to do it. So, let's see. But I really want to see NVIDIA essentially close back within this channel, which essentially would mean I want to see NVIDIA pretty much close, like at the very least, like 110, 111, like at the bare minimum this week. If we can close above 110, 111 this week with the bare minimum, that still holds the bullish thesis alive there. I mean, I still think that NVIDIA is going to have some issues around here with the EMAs. But that to me would signal the fact that this little drop down that we're getting at the beginning of this week right now would be more of a bear trap. This would be a bear trap, a false breakdown if we close back above this, channel, and that could be good news. We're not there yet, though. We're not there yet. There's still work to be done to really accomplish that. Let's see if the bulls can do it. I'm not really holding my breath for it. And if we do get a rejection from here, I still think NVIDIA does make that way lower for that, 97-ish level, which that would line up with what I would love to see for that bullish divergence on the 1 hour, where, like I mentioned, it'll go a little bit higher. The RSI makes its way higher as the stock maybe goes a little bit higher to like maybe 109, 110, or 110 rather. And then we ultimately make that lower low, potentially even as low as closer to that 97, 98-ish level that I just showed on the weekly, on the daily, etc., which on the 1 hour chart, again, would be somewhere down here as well. But that would set up a beautiful looking bullish divergence, and that could be something pretty spicy to look out for if that actually happens. So NVIDIA is in a very, very odd spot here, to be completely honest with you. It's sitting in spots where it almost feels like the stock doesn't even know where the hell it wants to go, to be completely honest with you. There's just very neutral signals on the stock, arguably even bearish signals. But again, with the market potentially looking like it wants to flip here, or the market showing, but like here, look at this example on the market. SPY, for instance, making a nice bullish divergence that essentially made new lows, and even when it was at the lowest point in the day, RSI was well above the previous low back here, showing very obvious bullish divergences on the market, right? Same on the daily, right? Very, very obvious bullish divergences. So it's like, if the market looks like it might be finally ready to flip a little bit here and actually get some bullishes for once finally, there's no way NVIDIA doesn't follow. But then what if NVIDIA holds the market down instead? So it's like, which one is the market going to bring NVIDIA up, or is NVIDIA going to bring the market down? That's the thing I'm just not confident about, which is why I'm kind of personally staying away from NVIDIA, and I'm either waiting for a weekly close back above at least like this 110, 111, or even more ideally for me personally, I'm waiting for a move back down to about this 98, 97-ish range for that very large 1 hour bullish divergence, which I would very much like to see, which could be very spicy for the stock. And I think that can make a pretty significant bottom there. So yeah, to be completely honest, the stock is just very, very neutral to me, very neutral to slightly bearish. And it's just annoying because the market looks like it might want to finally flip and might finally get some bullishness, while this NVIDIA just feels like it might not just be there yet. So either the market will bring it up or the NVIDIA will bring the market down. One of those two things is going to happen, and I'm not sure which one it's going to be just yet, to be completely honest. And just, to be frank, it is what it is. So let's see how this plays out. I think NVIDIA, from my personal point of view, not financial advice, just my opinion, is still in a more of sort of a wait and see sort of scenario. It's a wait and see scenario. It's not a scenario you YOLO in too aggressively or anything like that. It's a scenario. It's a stock. It's in a situation where let's just see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. Let's see some better signals, because there's just nothing really obvious just yet. I think short term there could be one small little pop. I like the fact that it had this liquidity sweep. I think the shorter term is looking like it has some potential. Like maybe something like this, I guess, when you can still get this little move up. It's just the longer time frames, and especially the weekly, that I'm just not a fan of. The weekly is the one that's still making me question things a little bit here. So let's see. I need more data. I'm not confident one way or the other, but I do lean slightly bearish if I had to pick. But I'm on the sidelines for NVIDIA right now. Full transparency, I'm on the sidelines. I have literally zero position on NVIDIA. I'm just waiting. And I'm gonna let this see how it goes. But yeah, either way, thank you so much for watching. Let's take a quick look at options flow. See that gives us any insight to this abomination of a chart. The bulls are kind of trying to stepping in towards the end of the day. Yeah, I like to see that. Very nice call coming in here, which again, short term, like I said, I think the stock has potential. Short term has potential to 1010, 19, 1010. Why do I keep saying 1010? 109, 110, maybe even 111, right? I do think short term on the 1 hour, it has a bit of potential here. Even if it gets a drop to the 106, as long as 106 holds, I think it can still go to like 110-ish, which could be with this, pretty much 800,000 premium call coming in for 113 expiring this week. I like to see that. So short term, there is that potential still. It's just the longer term time frame, like the weekly, is the one that's still a big question mark to me. But shorter term, yeah, I think, there is still a good chance that it does something like this, but this could be a trap. And I'm willing to see how it reacts there as well, because we got rejected there before. This was a support, then we got rejected, so this could be a very crucial level to see how that goes. But we could get a nice little pop up there for sure short term. But from there, that's where the question mark really starts to come in, because that's also where the weekly resistances start to come in as well. So yeah, let's see. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Peace.